I would never, ever try to fit in ever again. That was the end of it. Want to tie that experience to why I became an entrepreneur. I'm going to basically find ways to create my own pathways.
We feature a legendary Canadian entrepreneur. Years ago, he started a tech company. Then he started his own venture fund and family office. In his retirement, became the CEO of Mars Discovery District.
Resilience isn't just about sort of like toughing it out in, surviving terrible odds and fighting through broken glass. It's actually deeply communal.
Were there any lessons that you carry to this day?
That I do believe is one of the superpowers that you need to have, is that commitment to tough it out. Failure was not a fucking option. My biggest lesson from earning that $100,000 was
So welcome back to another episode of 100 Ways to Make 100K. Today we are on set with none other than Mr. Young Woo. He used to be the CEO of Mars, but he founded an insurance software company and something in the financial sector that we'll dive into that he had a pretty big exit on. I'm not going to tell you how much, and I'm not going to tell you what it was for or when it happened. You're going to have to tune into the full episode. Now, at this present time, he sits on some of the most important boards in the country. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Young's history, a little bit about some of the lessons that he learned along his journey, and what it takes to be on the board to drive the future of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, Young Woo.
That was pretty impressive.
You think so?
And you did it without notes,
no
too.
No notes, man.
I know, that's amazing.
So let's start here. Where are we right now? I see a motorcycle. There's a Harley Davidson jukebox. There's an upstairs and downstairs library. There's a Chinese puzzle wall behind you. Where are we right now?
Right. Well, there's the direct answer to your question, and then there's sort of where are we in life right now? Question.
Where do you want to go?
Well, I mean, let's take a shot at both. How's that?
All right, that's a deal.
So where are we right now? This would be a place that I bought back in 1998. It was halfway through my first company.
Okay.
And back in 1998, I was a young fella.
Yeah.
Probably
you must have been 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. But it was a place where I was a different person back then, Javon.
Yeah.
My first entrepreneurial journey was very much a journey of discovery for me. I did not set out to be an entrepreneur. I did not set out to be a CEO. None of those things were sort of things in my list of aspirations. Life just developed for me.
Hard to believe now after looking at all the things that you're occupying, all the spaces that you're occupying, right? And it's like, wait, this wasn't in the plan?
No, not exactly.
All right. So before we dive into the story, let's finish.
Where are we right now? So this is a loft. It's in a building that was part of the Schmada district back when I bought it in 1998. And 10 of us got together and bought this building, and we decided to basically sink an elevator shaft down the middle. I measured the elevator so it could handle my Harley Davidson, which went up and down. There was nothing here except pigeon poop and broken windows. So I used to ride my motorbike around this place while we were building it out.
Wow.
This is now the middle of the probably 4th renovation I'm doing. Okay. And interestingly enough, every renovation kind of corresponded to a phase of my life.
Okay. Maybe what we can do is, in this conversation, let it unfold as those different chapters. Because like we said, right, where are we right now? I mean, we're in a construction zone for something that we maybe might call a rebirth. Right? Like it's interesting to think, like at 35, you can still be getting started, and it's like, wow, it's very inspiring.
Did you know I only got started with my first company at the age of 30?
You only got started with your first company at 30?
Yeah.
All right. So who were you before that? Because I've had a conversation with you, and to me, that story was very impactful, right? Like you weren't always in Toronto.
No.
Yeah,
in fact, if you go right to that, I came here to Canada when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
And I was following my father, who came out about 3 years before I got here. We came out of a military dictatorship. At the time, Taiwan was being run by Chiang Kai-shek. And it was not a place. Like military autocracies and dictatorships and authoritarian regimes are not a good place for people that are libertarian, that have their own ideas, that enjoy democracy, free speech.
Now, you're only a couple of years old. Was this something that you valued at the time, or was this something that your parents were kind of expressing?
You know, my dad was one of the most brilliant chemical engineers that ever came out of Taiwan. He was going to big places, high places fast. And my mother, to match up with him, was one of the first women to graduate from science and technology and engineering at the National Taiwan University.
Okay.
If you know a little bit about that, NTU was equivalent to like an MIT back in those days.
Okay.
So her nickname was Madame Curie.
Okay.
Because she had a beautiful mind, just like Madame Curie in France. So those are the two. And my father had to escape Taiwan because he was too idealistic, had his own ideas, wasn't afraid to express them, and was a bit of a leader in the community. And so we knew that at some point, if he did not leave, he would be targeted.
Wow. And how old were you at this time?
3 years old.
3 years old. Okay. Yeah. Got it. And only child, eldest, youngest?
No, eldest. Have a younger sister.
Was she around at this time as well?
She was just born.
Just born. Okay. So it's you as a 3-year-old and a newborn, and your parents feeling, we got to leave this place.
Well, yes. My father left, and my mother and I and my sister didn't see him again for 3 years.
Wow.
So we were sheltering.
Wow.
With, my aunties and my grandmothers on both sides. And, we eventually found a way to come out here as well. And the story, which is the question, how did I end up here at 6 years old? Well, when I came here...
Is that how old you are right now? 60?
I'm 65.
You look great. Hey, you look great for 65.
I'll take that too.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm 65 years old, yeah.
You still get out on the Harley or what?
No, that was one of my phases of life, Javon.
All right. Well, we'll get to that chapter.
Now it's furniture.
Now it's furniture. Hey,
now it's furniture.
You should have sat on that. I was telling you before, you should have sat on that for the episode, man. That would have been nostalgic.
That would have been good.
Okay. So you're sheltering from aunties and grandma, and your dad had left now. And
he came out here on a full scholarship.
Okay.
And he chose to come to Canada, not the United States, which is an interesting thing. I didn't have a chance to ask him why. But So when we came here, I didn't speak English.
Okay.
Didn't speak French. Landed in Ville d'Anjou, Montreal. A very interesting thing. And by the way, Taiwan today is nothing like Taiwan was in the 1950s and 60s. Now Taiwan is one of the most, it's one of the foremost democracies in the world, actually.
What was it at the time?
At that time, it was a military dictatorship. It was run by, Chiang Kai-shek was one of the warlords in China. And he and Mao Zedong were basically the two that basically battled quite a bit. So he retreated to Taiwan to form up his own fortress.
Okay.
And Mao Zedong was based in China. That the whole history just unfolded.
This is history that I've never been exposed to. So this is my first time. Now you're going to send me down a rabbit hole of all this Chinese history that I can't wait to dive into. Yeah.
Well, you're an interesting guy. That you're probably the perfect Renaissance guy, right?
Let's see.
You have a lot of experiences that you've soaked up over. How many interviews now?
I don't know.
68 or so?
Well, it doesn't matter. This is the one.
This is the one
that I've been waiting for. Well, here's the thing, right? You're talking about being a Renaissance man. I don't think I could be complete as a Renaissance man without fully understanding Chinese history. So let's see what we learn in this conversation.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay. So there was all of these things unfolding. And I guess it went through like some form of revolution or something after you left, right?
Well, it was an evolution as opposed to a revolution.
Okay.
But
how would you define the difference between the two? Because I know language is very important. Like the words that we use to describe things matter. And you decided to describe what typically would be called a revolution as an evolution. And I think that nuance and detail is one of the things that make you unique, right? I mean, there's 5,000 different feet of uniqueness around us. But I think that's like one nuance that I kind of just picked up a little glimmer of sunlight on. So.
Yeah, well, you're kind to put it that way. It was none of my doing, but as you watch Taiwan evolve from essentially a military autocracy to what it is now, which is they have one of the most progressive democracies in the world. They are able to consult with people and communities before they make decisions. They have some of the biggest industries in the world. TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation.
No, never heard of it.
They manufacture 90% of the semiconductors in the world.
Okay.
High performance compute semiconductors.
Wow.
So if you're thinking about NVIDIA, which is Jensen Huang, he's actually born in Taiwan.
Okay.
He's based in California. And NVIDIA is probably the most valuable company in the world. He designs chips. TSMC manufactures them.
Okay.
Without TSMC, your iPhone wouldn't be working. Possibly some of your equipment here wouldn't be working. You couldn't drive in your autonomous vehicle. TVs. I mean, think about it.
Literally every
If you did not have chips.
Anything that's smart, any of these smart technology is not smart without Taiwan.
Right.
Okay.
And so Taiwan today, one of the most advanced democracies, one of the most advanced manufacturing centers for what the modern world needs, and just an incredibly rich society, a rich culture.
Now let's hold on. Yeah. Rich society, rich culture. What does that mean to you?
It means it means the multifaceted component.
Okay.
Many Taiwanese people are average, common. They're not wealthy because they have to make things in order to create wealth. They don't get to mine things. They don't get to dig things, and they don't. It's manufacturing. It's excellence. It's discovery. It's science. It's research.
Yeah, it's not just what's around you. It's what the people create from within.
Yeah.
Okay.
With maybe one. I mean, some of the world's best marble does come out of the Taiwanese mountains. So there's things like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right?
I understand.
People have to be ingenious, and they have to be productive, and they have to basically put their communities in front of their own families and their own selves in order to kind of make something bigger than just the one.
Now, when you're moving as a kid to Montreal, you're not thinking about this stuff, right? You're just like, how do I escape this army, right?
No, I was more thinking about how do I get to know my dad again.
Wow.
Although my sister, who had only very little experience with my father before he had to escape, when she came here, the joke was that she was holding my mommy's hand so tightly coming off the plane. My mom had her son and her daughter. And she saw my dad, who's, he's taller than I am. He's 5'10" or something like that. And he's very much an extrovert.
Okay.
Kind of like you, actually.
I just take my notes from you. I just say whatever young Armagon and Claudette do, I just want to be like them. And that's it. If you don't know Armagon and Claudette, you will one day. Just not yet.
Okay. So Faye goes to my mom.
Faye is your sister.
Who is this guy?
Faye is your sister. Okay.
Yeah. She gave him the grilling. And then she whispers to my mom, she says, can we trade him in for a different one?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was when you first got here?
That's when we first got here.
Yeah. And landed in Montreal, right?
Landed in Anjou.
Anjou.
Ville d'Anjou, back then, is now mostly called Anjou.
Yeah. And
it's a rougher part of town.
And you fit right in, not speaking English or French, looking just like everybody else, right?
We were probably, I don't know if we were more shocked or the people that, we landed in their neighborhood were more shocked. Because they'd never seen anybody that looked like a visible minority in their lives. So,
must have thought it was the good style. And I see when I first think, I'm like, oh, they've never seen anybody with this good style. Maybe a nice haircut like this. But I guess it was the first time.
It was the first time, my friend.
Yeah. I heard a perspective the other day. They said, it was actually the last episode. He said, I always leave like the race conversation for last, or like the race assumption for last. It's like they could have not hired me because maybe we could just like insert it in the editing. But he was like, I never assumed that I didn't get the opportunity because I was I was a black guy. I never assumed that they were discriminating because I wasn't a black guy. I never assumed that they didn't hire me because this. And in one of the roles, he's like, maybe because I wasn't a woman. Maybe it was because I wasn't tall enough. Maybe it's because my suit was too nice. And he would just always push that assumption off to the end. And it's funny, you asked me, what are the lessons that you learn? And like from the podcast, when someone puts you on a spot like that, it's like, oh, tell me the lessons that you learned on your journey. It's like, I don't know, lots, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how can you boil it down to just one? But until you have a conversation when something becomes relevant, it's like, oh, that's right when that one moment pops up.
Yeah.
Anjou.
Anjou. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long
it was an English block of a French neighborhood. But, it didn't matter. It could have been the reverse. I didn't speak either language anyway. So, same position.
Wow.
But, it was, you land in a place like that, it can either, you can either fold or you can actually learn something from it, right? So,
and when you think back to like the things that you took or enjoyed or learned or kind of experienced. Like, when you pour coffee into a cup, right, and then you try and pour water after, you can still kind of taste that coffee. I'm still, I could imagine when you think back to Anjou, there's still a couple things that leave a taste in your mouth. What would you describe as those things? Good or bad?
Well, I mean, the first reaction I had was my experience growing up. In Anjou was that you basically had to be twice as smart, probably run twice as fast, definitely be twice as strong, and maybe that got you 50% of the way. That was my first experience. And after, I may be a little dull or dense, but after a couple of times of that, I got it figured out. I know this is the pattern. This is what I got to do.
Yeah.
Well, my first reaction to that was that adversity. And we'll come back to adversity because I think it's one of the most defining things that can actually generate, your pathway.
Yeah. Okay.
But
and that was your first memorable taste of adversity, would you say? I mean, aside from like escaping and actually making it here.
Yeah. No, it was the daily experience of just having the deck stacked against you. I didn't quite articulate it that way or understand it that way, but looking back at it, that's kind of how I see that story. And so twice as fast, twice as strong, twice as smart, maybe you get 50% of the way. Sooner or later, you figure out that's what life has for you. So my first reaction was I got to blend in.
Okay.
I got to be invisible. I can't be this. I can't be me. I gotta basically blend into what everybody else is doing.
And why is that? Why is it like that? Like, why do we feel that pressure as kids that we got to be like everybody else?
Well, because, as a child, you don't understand these things. You know when you get attacked.
Yeah.
You know when you don't get accepted. You know when you get laughed at. When I started learning a little bit of English, I started understanding what people were saying.
Okay.
And there was a bit of protection when I did not understand. But when you start getting compared to, are you old enough to actually know a show called Bonanza?
Why you got to do that to me, man?
Because you're too young. Bring out that. You don't.
Tell me about Bonanza, young. I know all about Bonanza. No, I don't know anything about Bonanza. I never even heard of it.
So it was a show with the kart race on the ranch.
Okay.
It was one of those popular TV shows
at the time. Was this black and white? You're going to young boy me. I'm going to unk you right now. If you're gonna do that.
You know what? I probably deserve that. It's okay. Anyway, they had a servant.
Okay.
His name was Hop Sing.
Okay. I've heard that name before.
There you go. Hop Sing was a buck-tooth, ponytailed,
black
skull cap wearing Chinese fella.
Okay.
His personality was very obsequious. Obsequious. Woo! His thing was to be always the joke.
Okay.
And if there were any, he was a comic relief, and he was also viewed as the character that was always sort of trying to please everybody around him. He was a servant.
Okay.
And so growing up, there was very clearly a sense that because I looked Chinese, that therefore I should be like Hop Sing. This is somebody else putting their definition of who I should be on me.
Isn't that crazy that it all originated with a TV show?
Well, yeah, but there's also, if you don't like Hop Sing, you can go to Fu Manchu.
Which is
another one of these characters.
Come on, I'm more Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan era. Yeah, that's what
right. Yeah. Fu Manchu was the Yellow Peril.
The what?
The Yellow Peril.
Yellow Peril. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a super villain back then.
Okay.
Much cooler. There might have been a throwback to that particular character in one of the was it Captain America or was it Iron Man series?
Maybe. What we'll do is we'll research it after and make sure we include it in the notes. And if I didn't include it in the notes, just leave a comment and let me know, and I'll get you that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, that was you were asking why as a child I was trying to blend in.
Yeah.
Because my experience of not blending in was not fitting in was just a constant battle, constant challenge. I don't think back and say, oh my God, woe is me, poor this or poor that.
Yeah.
It's just part of my formative experience. And to this day, I actually really appreciate that experience. Because you might want to ask me next, why did I turn into an entrepreneur? Why did I choose to become an entrepreneur when it was nothing?
No.
It was not part of my aspirations,
No. And all you wanted to do was fit in, right? This is like the exact opposite of fitting in.
Well, that was it. I finally discovered I would never fit in. I should give up on that particular goal. There was do we have time for a little story? We have a little story.
This is your show. You make the rules, okay? We're going for lunch for Eli's birthday after. And but if you want to add a story, we'll go for dinner instead.
All right. All right. No, it's a short story.
All right, go for it.
So when I was going to school, I remember I joined the football team.
Okay.
I didn't know which way was the end zone and which way, I was like doing all kinds of crazy stuff out there because I had no idea. But I could really hit hard.
Yeah. Okay.
And the coach liked me for that.
Okay.
So anyway, I joined my football team. I played in the jazz band. I did all the stuff that, the popular kids do. Why? Because I was trying to fit in and become invisible. Anyway, one day we actually went and won a football game. And so we said, let's go out to a Chinese restaurant. Every small town has these Chinese restaurants in the highway as you get into town. Canadian Chinese cuisine, something like that. Right?
100%.
So we go to this place and we order stuff.
Sorry to interject, but to me it's shocking because the menus are always similar.
Yes.
Meanwhile, it's not a franchise.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
we'll get into that a little bit later. But
okay.
We got to find General Tao by the end of this episode.
Yeah. Probably came out of one of those places.
Okay. So you guys go to the Chinese restaurant after the football game.
And I remember, by then I thought I'd achieved my goal. I was one of the guys.
On the football team, we won the trophy, we won the championship.
I don't think we won the championship, but we won a couple of games.
I
was accepted by my teammates.
Okay.
I was, on the jazz band. I did sports. I did music. I was good academically. I could handle myself.
Yeah.
And at that restaurant, I remember my teammates picking at one of the waiters and making some really derogatory jokes. Take you back to the Hop Sing kind of analogy.
Yeah.
Those kinds of jokes.
Yeah.
And then there I was laughing with them at this poor fella is just trying to make $1.
That's it.
In a family restaurant to pay for their experiences in Canadians.
Wow.
I was laughing at that person because I was one of the guys.
They
didn't see me as who you see me as. They saw me as one of them. And we collectively were laughing at someone whose only thing was he looked different. He spoke a little differently with a different accent. And he was serving food to keep his family fed. And I got to tell you, Javon, when I went back home, started brushing my teeth, I did not like who I saw in the mirror that night. And I made a promise to myself that I would never, ever try to fit in ever again. And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And you want to tie that experience to why I became an entrepreneur eventually was because I felt like I'm not going to try and fit into somebody else's definition of who I am, nor am I going to fit into someone else's definition of where I could go or what my ceiling could be. So I'm going to basically find ways to create my own pathways. And I will invite others to join, to inspire others to join my own pathway. But it's going to be on my terms, not on anybody else's terms.
So this is elementary school that you're realizing this, like getting into high school?
No, this basically developed from a high school experience right through to I probably spent about 7 years in industry after graduating from university. And then decided to actually go out and become an entrepreneur. But the pathway to get to that decision had its roots in that original experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That like we were saying, right? The taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that was something that resonated with you for years.
But it served me. Now I look back, I say, what if I hadn't gone through that kind of challenge? What if wasn't put under that kind of, like, these things in life are amazing catalytic events. And I have the life I lead, and I have the community I'm with, and I have, Claudette and Armagon and yourself and, the communities I'm able to hang with and the boards I'm able to sit on because of the resilience that was built that could only have come because of the challenges that were faced. So I'm grateful for that now. Yeah.
So before we get right into the entrepreneur, just trying to put a capsule on where it was pre. So what did you study, and what was the first job that you had out of school?
Well, I went through school for, I'm assuming you're talking about university now, right?
Yes.
So I went through university for computer science, economics, and mathematics.
Okay, got it.
My first job was working as a porter in a hospital.
What is that?
The porter basically loads shit.
Oh, okay.
And, cleans
like
bed
actual
plans.
Like actual shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Geriatric hospital.
Here we go.
$5.32 an hour.
Do you remember?
Amazing pay. It was amazing pay.
Yeah, at the time.
Got me through school because we didn't come from wealth. So I worked weekends and evenings and got myself through school and paid for my rent and bought food and got my tuition done. But to this day, the people that I probably have the most respect for were my coworkers from those years. They came from Portugal. They came from Hungary. They came from the Netherlands. They came from Jamaica. They came from all over the place. Their work ethic was off the charts. I knew I would be there for a short time, not a long time, which is how I handled it. They were there for their children, their families. They made sacrifices coming from places where they were other things. But they came here for their families.
Wow.
Never forgot that.
Wow. It must have reminded you a lot of your parents.
It did.
Yeah. What were one of those things that you learned from your parents back at that time? Were there any lessons that you carried to this day?
Oh, so many. So many. But maybe I'll tell this story about my parents.
Please.
I lost both parents in 2020. My mother in January 2020, my father in April.
My condolences.
Probably a broken heart, I would say.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But before they passed, I remember having several conversations with them about the life we lead in Canada and how if we had gone to any other place other than this country, we may not have had the opportunity we had. And we had an agreement, which was that if we found ourselves ever in a position of privilege, that we would give back to this place. Because there's a difference between a place that you're fortunate enough to be born into, where where the experience of being here is not taken for granted, but it is just part of your life experience, right?
Yeah.
Versus us, we came from a place where it didn't matter how bright you were, how talented you were, how smart you were. You knew that you're going to have a limited capability to actually rise.
Really?
So from that perspective, we knew what Canada was all about because we were not fortunate enough to be born here. And coming here to a place like this, I had a little thing with my parents that said, if we ever find ourselves into a position of privilege, we should find a way to give back. That's what led me to basically jump out of my second retirement to lead Mars. That was my give back project.
So CEO of Mars was a retirement play.
It was a second retirement coming out of...
Well, we haven't got to that renovation yet. I'm like, slow down. Okay. So
yeah. That was my parents. That was the agreement I had with them. And it tells you a bit about sort of how we view this country. And why is this place so precious? Why is this place worth investing into?
Yeah.
Why is this place worth protecting?
Why is it?
Right. Because this is a place where hope lives. This is a place where you can be somebody without speaking the languages, without having the ability to just fit in, without having the privileges. I remember you and I having this conversation like years and years and years ago. I said, there's something about immigrants when they come here. They have, especially those that don't come from privilege, they got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And that's special when you land in a place like Canada because you don't waste a single thing. That was that experience.
Yeah.
That's worth protecting. That's worth giving back. And that's worth creating a platform and a pathway for multiple generations to come. Because what do you think makes a country fantastic? Great.
What do you think?
Well,
this is your show. It's not what I think. It's what you think.
But then you're the audience, actually.
Yeah. You're right. Well, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay. So my view is that Canada is great when its communities and its families and its businesses are great. How do you do that? You have to invest into creating a multi-generational destination for the talented, creative, future sort of oriented. You have to make this a destination for those people, their families, their communities, their businesses, which then reinvest into the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. That creates a bit of a flywheel effect for the country.
But this doesn't sound like a problem that you were intrigued by when you first started your entrepreneur journey. It sounds to me like this making Canada a better place is almost like sort of the first retirement and beyond. So before we stay in that renovation, we still got to go back because I'm curious about one of my clients, and it's funny, I just saw her husband outside. She says the first mountain and second mountain. So the first mountain is it came from a book, but the first mountain being like the personal journey, the personal legend of self-conquering. And then once you do that, you're like, I just want to make the world a better place. After that, would you say that was kind of like an accurate description of the experience that you've kind of gone through your growth?
There's no question. It's Maslow's hierarchy. And you go through stages of life, and you go through stages of renovation, and you go through stages of, if you're lucky enough, you get to see all the different stages. Yeah.
So you go to school for math, science, all these things. It sounds like a triple major. And and you start working as a porter.
No, I worked as a porter to put myself through school.
To put yourself through school. Now, after school, how did life unfold for you? Just a job, and then all of a sudden, boom.
No, I started off as a young management trainee at what is now Hydro One and used to be Ontario Hydro.
Okay.
And I was a systems engineer in the basement of Ontario Hydro, but I was technically proficient.
Okay.
So I had my hands on the lever of a nuclear station, it's like that kind of a thing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to
I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah.
They would never let a young trainee do that. But the point is, I was on the fast track of Ontario Hydro. and they had their first reduction in force, is what they call it, RIF.
Okay.
When the economy basically took a downturn, so they let all their managing trainees go.
You were one of those.
I was one of those. I couldn't believe that it happened. You know, I did everything I could to actually be excellent and to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned my first lesson. It's like, you know what, in the workforce, I mean.
Yeah, talk to me.
It's not a matter of just what you do. It's a matter of the context that you're operating in.
Okay.
Life around you, the economy around you, the markets around you, the global geopolitical, geoeconomic, geosocial world around you. All the things you don't control are probably the things that you'll have to navigate, or that will navigate you. The things you do control are just table stakes. How well you do. What are your marks? You know, what are your performance reviews like? Those are all just table stakes. So the question is, how do you navigate things that you don't control in life?
And I think that might be one of the most important questions, because you go all over the internet, you read the comment sections on certain posts, and it's someone else's fault, and it's this person's fault that this happened, and this external reason, you know, because the construction's outside, we can't come do a podcast. And it's like, there's like, oh, because my elevator's too small, I can't put my Harley Davidson in my apartment.
Well, build the elevator so we can handle it.
Exactly. Right. So this is kind of like who it is that we're sitting with right now. There's you think like there can be constraints, but are they real? Some of them are, and they'll guide you, but some of them are up for interpretation. And I think that's my perspective on it, but it's not my show, it's your show. So that's
no, I like the way I like what you're putting down.
I like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So now there's RIFs. It's the first layoffs. You can't control the things that you can't control. And this is the first kind of experience. Actually not your first experience, because you can't control an army.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like you're seeing this theme pop up where it's like, there's going to be circumstances that exist in the environment around me that I'm going to have to navigate on my own. So now all of a sudden you're laid off, and
so I probably had about maybe 6 or 7 jobs over the course of 8 years or so.
In between, after the layoff, to still chemical engineering.
Including that job, before I started my first company.
Okay.
So really rapidly, I found out that, you know what, in job after job after job that I was in, I kept hitting ceilings that had nothing to do with designing.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? This used to be a ceiling too.
Yeah.
But we're not at that renovation yet. So and when I say this, I was tapping my foot on the ground. We'll save that for later. So you kept hitting these ceilings in these jobs.
Right. But I had nothing to do with designing what these things should be.
Yeah.
So those were other lessons. You know, first of all, nobody's entitled to anything, you know, and obstacles will come that you don't control. How do you navigate those? The second one is if you're stuck inside an organization with systems that you didn't design that are stopping you, then how do you basically proceed? How do you basically grow? So I decided in those 7 or so jobs that I would train in every single aspect that I thought I needed in order to go out and set my own pathway.
And okay, so do you think the things that you trained yourself in back then are still relevant to this day?
Yeah, I think so, you know, because they're not skills.
Okay.
They are perspectives on life. They come with skills, of course. You know, how do you be a project manager? How do you be a business development person? How do you run financials? How do you, you know, be a leader? This, that, the other thing.
Yeah.
There's definitely skills that come with that.
In your mind, what's the baseline of the toolkit? Because these are all really what those 7 things that you sought out are. I identify as like principles or the lowest common denominator for whatever it is that you're looking to build. Like it's like your raw ingredients, right? It's like flour, water, sugar. Right.
Yeah.
So what were they at the time?
They're all the different facets of how you run a business, build a business, grow a business. So I mean, the details are probably less important than just sort of taking it at multiple levels, not just the skills and not just what you do, but who you do it with, why you do certain things, what you do, how you do it. You know, people often get stuck with, oh, if I learn this skill, then I got it, right? You should just rinse, lather, repeat thereafter, right? But it's more important to actually take them from the point of view of the framework, because life is going to change, often in ways you don't control. But maybe the framework is something, the principles are things that you can actually continue to take with you. Yeah. Right.
And what were the ones that you sought out at the time? Do you recall? Or
they weren't things I sought out so much as they were things I discovered. For instance, I'll give you my 3.
Okay.
Respect. Resilience. Relationships.
And I guess we'll call them the 3 R's.
Okay, we can do that. What is respect?
Yeah. Are you asking me, or are you just framing the question?
Okay. I'm framing it, but I'm asking you because I'm interested in your perspective.
In my perspective,
what do you think is respect?
In my perspective on respect.
When someone respects you, what is it that they should show you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think attentiveness. Punctuality. And I don't like just saying of like treat others as if you want to be treated, because everybody wants to be treated differently. But I would kind of lead with those 2: punctuality, attentiveness, and attention to detail around the person. That's how I would kind of define it.
That's good.
Without singing RESPCT, find out what it means
to
me.
But no, those are good.
Respect, resilience, and what was the last one again?
Respect, resilience, and relationships.
Relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I just wanted to get my like, I don't know what I'm going to call these notes yet, but I started doing it the last episode, and I think there might be some gold in this. So
respect to me is the things you described.
Okay.
I'd also add curiosity. But when I put those together in terms of the experiences that we just talked about, my story.
Yeah.
It is that we can find ways to embrace the differences in each other.
Okay.
Because there's something magical that happens when I see you and I hear you and I'm curious about you and I want to learn about you, because that's only going to open up my own view of the world and maybe discover things I never had in my insular view of my own experiences only. That's a multiplier effect. Not necessarily addition, and definitely not subtraction.
100% no.
So what happens if I can get multipliers out of really understanding who Javon is? Figuring out how your experiences might be, things that I can take away, things I can learn from, things I can actually at the age of 65 still get inspired by. That's life, man.
Yeah.
That's joy.
Yeah.
Whereas if I think I know it all because I happen to be twice your age, I may as well shut down right now because there's nothing more for me to learn, right? You have a different perspective, one that I appreciate.
Likewise.
Thank you.
The sentiment is reciprocated.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we would,
that's how I would frame respect.
Yeah. I really like what you said around curiosity, because and there's curiosity for ulterior motives and there's curiosity for learning. And I think if you dive a little bit deeper into curiosity, there'll probably be a couple more. But I think specifically curiosity for discovery and curiosity for learning and curiosity for it to expand. I listened to this book one time and they talked about your radar screen. Yeah. And it talks about, all the things that are going to change your life are outside of your current radar screen. You're playing video games, you got a little radar at the corner. I mean, I don't know if you know about these video games with a radar on them, but you got a radar and you can see all these things. And then, something might happen where all of a sudden you get an even bigger map. You get an even bigger radar that you never really had just in the small corner. And, this book that I was listening to, or I can't remember what it was, a program, but they were talking about expand your radar screen. And how can you expand that radar? And you're not going to get that unless you, drink drink deeply from the fountain and explore your curiosities to new depths. You know, totally. And I think one of the themes that we keep talking about is depth. And we'll probably get there in the relationship section, but you said number 2 was resilience.
Resilience, yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it relates to our other topic too, which is that, you know what, in life, so much comes at you that you don't control.
Yeah.
I actually don't believe in overnight successes. You know, I think there's a bit of a danger to someone who becomes successful
quickly
as a fluke.
Yeah.
Because you think that is not repeatable. And you live a long life.
Yeah.
And to be able to take the lessons and principles and be able to apply them so you can repeat them is a part of the sustainability of how you go about life.
Yeah.
So resilience to me, did I ever tell you about the name of my venture company?
NFQ, baby. That's NFQ, all I know.
Baby. That's it.
That's the only thing that I know. You know what I mean?
Stands
NFQ.
for never quit.
Never quit.
You fill in the F, right? You got it.
Okay. And but this was, so hold on. When you started NFQ, this was after the exit.
Probably after about 6 of them.
But after 6 exits?
Yes.
6 exits? Sorry, six exits?
Yep.
All right, Young.
2 were
get to the end
great
of this.
exits.
Yeah.
3 returned capital.
Okay. And 4th?
And
or
1,
6th?
maybe 2 completely fell on their faces.
All right.
And
pretty good hit ratio.
It's a great hit ratio.
Yeah.
But NFQ was my venture investing company. It's a family office.
Yeah.
And it came out of this whole thing about resilience. Because I actually believe that, you know, success and failure are just 2 different points on exactly the same continuum. And what you think are the things that you control. The quality of your product, the quality of your team, the customers you have, the technology, the features, the brand, the strategy, the reach. They're all really, really important things. I'm not saying they're not important. They're incredibly important.
Yeah.
Those are just table stakes.
Okay. Controllable. Okay.
What you do affects each and every single one of these. How you lead affects each and every one of these things. Who you gather around you and how do you coach and mentor, incredibly important. But the things you don't control might be, you know, the economic cycle of the day. Who's occupying, you know, the White House, for instance.
Yeah.
What are the geopolitical sort of you know, there's so many things that you don't control. And the question is, how do you stay in the game long enough so that when things turn your way, you can actually convert on the table stakes into success. Okay. So I think success and failure are just 2 different points on exactly the same continuum. But the trick is finding a way to stay in the game long enough.
Interesting.
So that first company I talked to you about.
Yes.
If you want to go back to that, I started that on my 3 credit cards.
Okay. Was it called Canspec?
Castech.
Castech.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did it do? Just so that
it was in the enterprise software business.
Enterprise software. So you went from, how did you even get exposed to enterprise software, if you don't mind me asking at the time?
Well, that's what I went to school for. So it's what I knew. That's what I trained for in terms of the businesses I worked for in jobs.
Okay.
So when I started off my own company, that was in 1990. By then I was, actually I was making in 1989. This is one of your questions.
First 100 in a year?
It was my first 100 in a year.
In 89?
In 89.
Okay. I was minus 4 years old. So
there you go.
But just
you were just a twinkle, maybe even before a twinkle.
Exactly. So when you're talking to me about Bonanza, now it puts perspective.
Okay. Okay. So $100,000 back then is like $250,000 today.
Yeah.
In terms of equivalent buying power, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I was making in 1989. I was saying to myself, you know, Young, if you ever, if you ever wanted to create a company, you got to do it now. You have to do it now.
Why?
Because you're getting too comfortable.
Okay.
You're getting it's too easy to collect a paycheck.
Okay.
And you're losing your edge. Remember the edge I was talking about?
Yep.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yep.
I was starting to get into a space where I was having a little too much to lose.
Okay. And when you say too much to lose, like what did that mean?
Comfort.
Was
false security.
Was it the house? Was it just comfort in the job, thinking that?
Car. House.
Okay.
Easy to expect a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Could basically have a pretty good life.
Yeah. And why did you seek out the opposite?
Because I was working in a place where I knew that my progression, my opportunity was not my own.
And
someone else is telling me what I could get and where I could contribute and the impact I could have. And,
Understood.
So it was a great job.
Yeah.
It was with one of the foremost semiconductor companies in the world, Texas Instruments. Actually, I was in Plano, Texas. Okay. And so I was traveling the world, starting up, businesses and offices for TI and earning a pretty healthy income for a young guy. And it was just getting too comfortable, man.
Okay. Understood.
So that's when I said, okay,
I have to do this.
In literally less than 12 months, I would never go it on my own because it was just getting to the point of being too comfortable. So I took out my Amex, my MasterCard, my Visa, and I maxed them out.
Okay.
$10,000 per credit card at the time.
What did you max them on? Was it just like
there was expenses? A transportable computer.
You needed to buy a computer.
There was a fax machine.
All right. So you needed a fax. You're like, I'm going to max out my credit cards on this fax machine.
Computer.
Excellent
fax
idea.
Machines.
Excellent business plan.
It was.
Yeah,
you know what that brought?
I don't, dude. I don't have a clue because I was not in the fax machine, Unc. Come on.
Unc. Oh, man.
So, paint this picture for me.
You don't even know what a fax machine is.
I mean, yeah. When I was an accountant, and in the accounting office, they had fax machines.
Those little wheelie luggage carriers?
Yeah.
You needed those for the transportable computer because it was like 50 pounds.
That's crazy.
The fax machine was, bigger than the actual transportable computer.
Yeah.
So I bought this equipment and thought, okay. And of course, back then, the interest rates on these credit cards was enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, the only difference between, the credit card issuers and, the guys that the loan sharks was that the loan sharks carried bats. The interest rates were about the same, though.
Crazy.
So there's another lesson there, too, which is challenges are not problems, actually. Challenges can be great catalytic events.
Okay.
Because when I say that, failure is not an option, you say, failure is not an option. That failure was not a fucking option.
No, dude, your credit card's maxed.
You'll lose everything.
Yeah, everything's already lost.
So it was an unbelievable. It was an unbelievable catalytic event.
Yeah,
going from the ultimate,
cozy,
casual.
You tell your friends,
complacent,
and everybody's like, "Oh, shiny."
Right.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So my friends, when I took out my credit card, said, "What do you want to be?
What do you want?
Why do you want to be an entrepreneur?
You want to get a fax machine? You're going to spend $30,000 on a fax machine, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What did you do with that fax machine?
I threw it out after 2 years. So that was my first company.
Okay. And what was it? Was this Case-Tech or?
This was Case-Tech.
Okay. And this was in its first form, or was it kind of, so we know a lot of companies are going through these evolutions and kind of changing what it is that they do, a little bit about who they serve, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Was it the same from day one through and through, or did it go through evolution?
It was a completely organic build.
Okay.
But just before I tell you the Case-Tech story, I will say this about making $100,000 a year back then for a company.
Yeah.
My biggest lesson from earning that $100,000 was it was a trap. It was a trap. I got myself out of the trap by not continuing that because the easy path, the complacent path, the one where I would have just kept on earning would have been to stay in it.
Wow.
Because I was making the money.
Okay.
Right?
That's I'm going to send that to some people. They're not going to like it. I can tell you right now, there's going to be some people that are listening to this that are like, Ooh, that kind of hit me. I remember there was this one time, sorry to go on a little journey side quest.
No, it's okay.
It was the first conference I ever gone to. And I remember it was 35,000 people. It was in a baseball stadium. I'm pretty close to the nosebleeds and the cheapest seats.
Yep.
And I flew to Florida for this conference, man. And it was the craziest thing. Life-changing experience. And I remember there was somebody on stage that said something. And when he said it, I was so mad, Young. I was so mad. This was maybe 2019 or so, 2018, 2019. I was so pissed.
Okay.
Heated. And then I was even more.
Do you remember what they said?
Yeah, I know. But I know exactly what they said.
Okay.
But it'll be too long for this episode for me to get into it. But I could tell you when we cut the cameras. Yeah. What he actually said was, if you're making less than $100,000 a year, you're running. But it makes more sense in the analogy that I'll wrap it up in offline. So,
okay.
But I remember him saying that from stage, and I was in the nosebleeds, and I was just so frustrated because I had worked my tail off and I finally made almost that, not even close, but almost. And when he said it out, I felt like frustration immediately. And then shortly after, I was even more mad that I got mad at what he said. And it's been one of those experiences that have sat with me, and I'm truly grateful for it. It's like you said, one of the catalytic events.
Yeah.
Because there's been a series of things that people have told me throughout my life that got me so frustrated when I first heard it, that it was just frustrated enough to make me take action on it. So I hope
you've had your catalytic events.
Oh, 100%. And I have a feeling this will be one of them as well. I wrote the message earlier. I don't know if you said this, but I caught this before you even started this episode, is that when you think there's a ceiling, like, just break past it and build a penthouse on top of it, right? So I should add that on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so now you were feeling the trap of comfort, and you said, I have to leave. I have to buy this fax machine. And so where did Case Tech go from that fax machine?
Well, when you have nothing but your own sort of hands, your own brain.
Yeah.
And I had a business partner at the time. So like when you got nothing but the two of us, you have to make it, and you have to find a way to deal with whatever comes at you. Whether you control it or not is irrelevant. You just have to find a pathway through, around, over, under. It doesn't matter. If you got a problem, you got to basically figure it out and get through it.
Yeah. Or you sit down and just
give up.
Eat the 30K credit card bill, and then you go back to work.
Then you give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say, making $100,000 is a trap, I'm talking about making $100,000 that somebody else determined for you. Not that you earned yourself, but because you're fortunate enough to be employed by a Fortune 500 company that, you're so far away from, if you don't kill something, you don't eat.
Yeah.
You can't feed your family.
Yeah.
Your employees don't get paid. It's too far away.
Yeah.
When you're right there, and what you do has an immediate impact on your ability to sustain your business, sustain your family, sustain your employees.
Yep.
Things become crystal clear.
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
That first one is a trap. The second one is a door.
So how did you make the first 100K in Case Tech?
Well, Case Tech made his first 100K almost immediately.
With the fax machine?
So we knew we had nothing.
Okay.
Javon. We had nothing except for our reputations.
Yeah.
And our knowledge.
What would you say your rep was at the time? Because it's not like I'm going to go on your Instagram in 1994 and be like, oh, Young's verified. He's the guy. Like, I don't go on your LinkedIn and see all these, all these connections, right? So yeah.
Well, back then, your reputation is everything.
I think it still is. Yeah.
Still is, but in a different way.
Okay.
Remember I talked to you about respect?
Yes.
I also talked about resilience, which we're talking about now.
Yes.
Then I said relationships.
Relationships. Okay.
Business travels at the speed of trust.
Oof.
You got to earn it, though.
Yeah. And how do you earn that? Sorry,
by making more deposits than withdrawals.
Okay.
By not calling on the relationships that I need only when I need them. By making sure that I'm giving by paying it forward all the time. And it's not because I expect someday that I'm going to have to basically call on anything. I think over time, when you have the right relationships and they're built on quality and trust, and it's just that things happen that can be beneficial for both or multiple, either in a community or in a relationship point of view. Things get to multiplier, not just addition, certainly not subtraction, and they happen faster. If you and I didn't know each other, it would take a little while for us to basically figure out trust.
Yeah.
I'd have to trust you. You'd have to trust me.
Yeah.
Not to basically blow up your podcast, waste half of your day. You'd have to trust me about that. I have to trust that you're going to take whatever information we have here and basically do something good with it.
Yeah.
It's the paying it forward without an expectation that you need to get something back. It's not transactional. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate you making this deposit in us and the audience and the 5 people that are watching. Not 5. There's a lot more than 5.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's how do you create a multi-generational destination for our young people?
Yeah.
To then attract talent, then attract capital, then attract growth. Build their families and communities around.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? As opposed to, milking the system and milking the city and milking the country. This is such a unique place. And people that don't, if you weren't ever exposed to a place outside of Canada, you would actually not appreciate the same way. I'm not saying we're perfect. Like, there's things we're working on.
Yeah.
And that's part of the magic. We got to keep on working on these things.
Yeah.
Not take it for granted. But
there was somebody's perspective that I heard recently that I was so taken aback by. I didn't even have a response, but they were like, "Man, screw this place.
Yeah,
I'm taking all this stuff and I'm leaving. This system scammed me. I'm scamming the system next." And I'm like, "What? Like, it's not even worth your energy to think like that. Like it's a vibration that you don't even want to be on." And it's like, instead of complaining about why the place is so bad,
do something about it.
Do something about it. What are you going to do about it? I think that's been my favorite question recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, people come to me and complain stuff, and I'm like, okay, so what? What are you going to do about it? Like, do something. Let me see what you do. Yeah. You said you're so frustrated. Okay, prove it. Maybe it has to get worse, before you even take action. But
there's truth to that.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't have enough resilience, right? Okay. So the third was relationships. I mean, what you were talking about,
that's what this was. Yeah.
Making more deposits than withdrawals, and not calling on people only when you need something. Calling.
Well, I'll come back to that first company for you.
Talk to me. K-Stack, first company?
K-Stack, 3 credit cards.
Yep.
Grew that to 400 people.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Organically. We didn't. We went through 2 people, became 4, become 8, become 16, become 32, become 64, eventually to 400.
I think there were some times when you had RIFs as well. Yeah.
Well, so not before 400.
Not before 400. Okay.
Right. So organic growth. We were one of the hottest technology companies in the country by then. We'd raised the largest rounds of capital.
What made you so hot other than your dashingly good looks?
Well, thank God I didn't have to rely on that. It would have failed early.
Yeah. What do you think it was? What do you think it was that led to that? Was it a good BD strategy? Was it having the product right? Was it having the marketing right? Was it having the right relationships? Because you came here knowing people, right? Oh, your family introduced you to this person, and next thing you know, like, it couldn't have been that.
No.
Yeah.
No. It was your word has to be your bond. You have to earn trust. You don't get to just get it granted to you.
Yeah.
It's a 2-way street, though. So you earn trust. You build a reputation. You build a reputation because you do what you say you're going to do, and you never ever, you never ever make promises you don't keep. At least that was back then, right?
Yeah.
Because things start happening when people you trust start referring you. Because if I trust Lee, and Lee says Javon is one of the best people I know, and he is like true.
Yeah.
Then I trust you. Why? Because someone I trusted told me about you. And that someone who told me about you knows that if I have a really poor experience of you, it goes back to him. Right?
Yep.
So that say what you're going to do what you said you would do, have a high say-do ratio, honor the reputational equity that someone else has basically invested into you, has entrusted into you. Those are all things that come back to, what business travels at the speed of trust.
Yeah.
It can be light speed.
Yeah.
Or
turtle speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it really all comes down to, like, I think that say-do ratio, I've heard that. I talked to a handful of people that I respect recently, and some of the things that they've described is the say-do ratio. They're like, I put you in touch with this person because you have a high say-do ratio. You said you're going to do this thing and you did it. Right. And I was like, oh, that's something that you're measuring? Okay, cool. I never even knew that. Yeah. But now that I've recognized it, I'm like, oh, I'm hearing this more and more and more and more from people that I respect. It's not a surprise.
When you're going through your life and you're going through your career, I mean, what do you have at the end of the day?
Your word.
Money comes, money goes. Challenges come, successes come. But you only have your reputation at the end of the day. And when you build your reputation, you guard it very carefully.
Yeah.
And when you invest your reputation into someone else, you don't just give it away, do you?
Yeah.
Because what that other person does reflects on you at the end of the day.
So let's say you were able to be reborn into this world. And before you ever see the movie Soul?
No.
All right, Unc. Well, let me tell you. It was a really cool cartoon movie. It came out on, I think, one of the streamers. They didn't sponsor this, so I'm not going to shout them out like that. But it was this movie, and all the souls in the universe exist. And then before they're born, they get to choose a body that they get into.
Oh, cool.
And it was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And they have like the lost souls and all sorts. It was a really good movie. Great storyline. And if you were to, let's say, have an opportunity to be reborn, knowing all the things that you know now, and you have the opportunity to design exactly what it means to have an impeccable, reputation. Yeah. If you were going to, like, let's say, wipe everything that you had and say, blank canvas, let's redraw what I want this reputation to look like. What are the qualities in the reputation that you would craft? Let's say you could bring it down. I mean, respect, resilience, relationships, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be, if you were to try and describe that, what do you think it would be?
We talked about a few of them already, which is, be a person of your word.
Yep.
Pay it forward.
Okay. And pay it forward just meaning give without expecting to receive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you get someone to trust you? By not, you don't go into, I don't think personally you would go into a relationship saying, I need something, so I'm going to get you to trust me so I can get something. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's, you pay it forward and it's going to come back to you at some point in a good way. And even if it doesn't, that's okay too, right? That's not why you're doing it in the first place. It's also how you basically navigate through challenge.
Okay.
Because when you get tested, that's when these things really, really start to bubble up.
Yeah.
When things aren't easy to do,
yeah,
your true self kind of shines through. So from my 3 credit cards, that story, to organic growth to 400 people, you'd think, the story of the 3 credit cards, and we finished it by a $1 billion liquidity event that we're part of to Oracle.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. That was company 1.
Okay.
And those 2 bookends are just fun to talk about. But really, that wasn't the story. The story, Javon, was what happened when the tech bust happened.
Yeah.
Followed by 9/11. Followed by Tyco, Enron, AIG, Anderson blowing up. Companies, the largest companies in the world, basically not existing anymore.
Yeah.
Followed by the global financial crisis after the Lehman Brothers situation blew up.
Yeah.
Like in each of those three major things that we didn't control, but completely affected the economic environment, the market environment, our customer environment, that company should have basically folded. My company should have folded 3 different times over.
And why didn't it?
Exactly. So we had to take 400 people down to 30, right?
That must have been one of the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That must have been more uncomfortable than being in a Chinese restaurant. Maybe not that uncomfortable.
No.
But
it was very, very uncomfortable. I never want to go through that again as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Rented a big auditorium to put 400 people in it. These are people that met each other. Some bought homes. Some got married. Some had children. And I had to tell them. They already knew. They already knew because they read the papers. They see what's going on. Nothing was a surprise, but they respected the fact that I would tell them directly what was going on. And we communicated all the way through. It didn't just happen like, you know what, all of a sudden on Sunday we were doing great. On Monday we were basically flat. They could see everything we were doing to try and preserve, to try and pay for, to try and continue the journey. And so when I told them, you know, most of them came up to me afterwards and said, you know, Young, how do we help you?
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It doesn't happen.
No.
Or it's unheard of, you know, at least in most situations.
So, you know, we had to rebuild that company from 30. We rebuilt it to about 250, 260 people from the same people that left.
Yeah.
They came back.
Wow.
And these were just honestly superstars. The rest, actually, many of the rest went on to form their own companies.
Okay.
Which is pretty amazing too.
That is super cool.
I mean, I love seeing, you know, this is that recurring sort of multi-generational, you know, things start sprouting out and creating. When people have great successes because we've actually shared a journey together, that is absolutely the most amazing thing to me.
Wow.
So challenge, I think, is something where things show up. You learn things about yourself and you learn things about who's with you. Because when things are going great, everybody's your friend.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be attached to you. Everybody's a fan. Watch what happens when things totally blow up.
Yeah.
Because of things that you don't control. And then you say, okay, who's got my back now? Those are the people I would basically throw myself underneath the bus for.
Wow.
And they know it.
Yeah.
Right? The fair weather friends, you know what? Now I know who you are too. Because you don't have unlimited resources. You don't have unlimited energy. You don't have unlimited time.
Yeah.
You want to get to the few people that have your back. You have their back. And life is an amazing journey thereafter, no matter what things happen that you don't control or do control.
Yeah.
Right?
Literally, it's the people that you're on the bus with. It's the people that you're on the ship with.
2,000%.
Yeah. It's just like I could go across, like you were saying, right? It's not so much width, it's a lot more depth that matters, at least to you.
And so, you know, attached to that is then how do you get to sustainability? How do you get to a situation where you can rinse, lather, repeat, do this again and again and again? Because over time, you discover the people that are part of your community. And you know who you can trust. And therefore, you know who you can go to battle with. Because you live long enough or you do business long enough, my friend, catastrophic things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to avoid it.
Yeah.
Those people with overnight successes think that that's it. But they haven't learned the tools. They haven't learned the muscles that they'll need to survive challenge. You're around long enough, you're going to get smoked. Who's going to be with you in that?
It's a great question.
Relationships.
Yeah, one of my mentors says it's a long life in a small world, and it just kind of stuck with me. Like one of those things that I didn't take right away, but over time, I was like kept getting exposed to life. It really cemented itself. So now you exit for something massive.
Yeah, as part of $1 billion event. It was fantastic. Yeah.
At the time, why did you exit? Like it's you rode this thing like a roller coaster. You went through the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations. It must have been profitable if it sold for a number that starts with a B. You were already in the ship with people that trusted, had a lot of respect for. Why exit? They gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm sure that was a good part offer. Of it, but
it was a good offer.
Yeah.
So by now it's 14 years. Mm-hmm. In the first 7 years, I was still sort of arrogant.
First mountain.
Invincible.
Okay.
Nothing could happen to me. Nothing could touch me, my friend.
What happened in year 7 that humbled you? Was that
between 7 and 10, year 7 and year 10, we went through 9/11 destroying the financial services business, my customers basically.
Okay.
Followed by the tech bust, followed by the Tyco, Enron, AIG, Anderson, Sarbanes-Oxley came in, followed by the great financial crisis. So you could see in between year 7 to year 10, I
started taking some hits.
I took huge hits.
Yeah.
That's where we had to let 400 people down to 30.
What's the most amount of money you've lost in a day?
In a day?
Yeah. Because we always talk about like how much did you make in a day? Like what do you think?
Here's the story. I was sitting at the top of one of the buildings at University in Dundas where I had my offices with my chairman.
Yeah.
And we're looking out on University Avenue, kids with squeegees. And I said, Jim, you see that guy with a squeegee? He's worth about $10 million more than me right now. So you know what I mean? So
you went past negative 30.
Absolutely.
It's credit cards.
Yeah.
So negative 30 isn't the biggest you've been negative before.
No. So you want to ask how much did I lose at one point?
Yeah.
On paper?
Yeah.
Big time.
What about unrealized losses? I guess those aren't.
Those are unrealized losses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what is it, 6, 7, 8 figures? Like how many figures are we talking here? 9 figures?
In terms of actual losses?
Yeah.
A couple 100,000.
Did that phase you at all?
No, because losses only get realized if you quit.
NFQ, baby.
What turns a negative 10 into $1 billion liquidity event?
I don't know. You did it.
Never fucking quitting.
Okay.
Because the things you don't control, what goes down goes back up. If you can stay in the game. Do you remember that quote from Winston Churchill? He said, success is not final.
You know what? No, because and let me interject for a second. I have another friend who's turning 70 this year.
Yeah.
And he said one of his heroes is Winston Churchill. So now I have ancient Chinese history to study, and now I have Winston Churchill to study. So thank you.
So this is a quote from Winston Churchill.
Talk to me.
We said, success is never final.
Okay.
Failure is never fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. If you have the courage to continue, even through things that look like they're failure, you will get to the other end where you have a massive opportunity for success. And, this time by now I'm into past years 7 to 10 and I'm into year 14.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm no longer arrogant. I'm no longer invincible.
You got a couple battle scars.
I feel like I'm running an obstacle course that's made up of IEDs with cartons of eggs in my hands. And I'm saying, you know what?
Yeah.
The people that are working for me, the families, the businesses, the shareholders, I need to give them a win too.
You need to give
them a win.
Okay. And
I'm looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Why? Because I know the next cycle's coming. there's another thing coming that's going to basically be something I don't control.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay. Got it. So now, how did the liquidity event benefit the people that were around you? Like, did they, I guess they had like shares or something. Was the company public at the time? No, it's private.
No, it's private.
Okay.
It's acquired by a public company. So there's, employee share ownership plans. And, it was all good. So
nice. So you exited, what year was it? 2013? Is that where we're at?
We're 2007 timeframe,
and
2008.
And you already had bought this place. So
this place was 1998.
So now we could talk about the renovation. So, okay. I've been trying to get back here.
The renovation.
The mark of a good story is you start in position X, you go on a journey, and then you end in the same position, a brand new person. Mm-hmm. And I think the different renovations that you went through are kind of like a testament to that. So this place, when you bought it, you said there was pigeon poop and broken windows and nobody was in this side of town. Now everybody's at this side of town. Mm-hmm. At the time, why did you even get into real estate? You're a tech guy. Why were you like, I need to buy a building?
Well, you know what? I mean, it was
this in your arrogant phase too? You're
arrogant,
like,
I'm invincible. I can do anything I want. Nothing
it.
Can touch me. I'm obviously the best thing since sliced bread.
You are.
No, I'm not. But back then, you had this feeling.
Okay.
And so you made stupid decisions.
Would you say this was a stupid decision?
In retrospect, no.
In retrospect,
it was one of my best decisions.
But here's the thing. It was probably a good decision, bad decision, good decision, bad decision, good decision.
You got to navigate. You got to survive. You got to keep on keeping on with your journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I was young and single back in 1998 when we bought this. And
you're still young, by the way.
Yeah, Bud's my name. I'm sticking with it.
98?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you don't tell us what it's worth now, but what did you get the building for? You said it was 10 partners, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a couple $1 million.
Couple million, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we basically divided the building in half.
2 halves, north and south.
North and south.
Okay.
And everybody put their own renovation into their own place.
No way.
Yeah. This place is, sort of zoned for live and commercial and residential as well.
Yeah. So so you said everyone divides, what is it? Everyone took a floor, for example?
A half floor.
Half a floor.
So that elevator opens to the
each side.
South side as well as the north side.
Okay.
Every floor.
Interesting. And is it 1 unit per floor or did 2 units per floor?
On either side of that elevator.
Sorry, I meant on the north and so the north side is just this 1 unit. But did some people turn theirs into multiple units?
No.
Everybody just kept it and said, this is okay. Now do your original partners still live here as well?
There's been a few, but there's been, I'd say, about 70% turning over because we're now talking about
20 years, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to turn half of it into my penthouse. Yeah. How old are you at the time? 37, 38?
38.
Okay. All right. Good to know. So I got a couple years before I can, flex like the young guy.
You get there soon. Don't worry about that.
In due time. So you get this place and you're like, whose idea was that, man? Is that yours? Is this your cooking? Like, is this you up to no good getting these crazy ideas? I have a feeling it was.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
I don't remember. I think we were just looking for, an interesting, we're looking for a place that we could put our personalities into.
Okay.
If you go into a condo, even go into a house, you don't get to put your personality on that place.
No.
This is a blank canvas to paint upon.
Yeah.
Each one of us were obnoxiously individualistic.
Yeah.
And we could do things to our own places.
Yeah.
Every single unit here looked completely different from every other unit.
Wow. Okay.
So, right, this is a personality thing.
Yeah.
And, back then, remember, this is, arrogant, invincible. Mm-hmm. The line between arrogance and ignorance is actually very, very thin.
Yeah. What did you say? It's 2 points along the same spectrum.
No, that was success and failure.
This one's much closer in the middle.
This one is like right on the same line.
Yeah.
Arrogance, ignorance. Which way do you want to fall?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're both.
Maybe.
One leads to the other. Right?
Yeah, literally.
But, hey, you rather get lucky than smart sometimes.
Yep.
This is a great decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Did you always feel that way and that it was a great decision?
This has been one of the most interesting things. This place has mapped my life, my career.
Wow.
And I think it was actually 3 renovations, not 4. But each one of these things represented a phase of my life. This phase here, I'm moving back in after 3 years of being away. This is the world's most expensive storage locker for 3 years. I'm moving back in. Well, I'm going to do a complete renovation again.
Yeah. So this is the second renovation. So it started as pretty much nothing. You renovated it, and how did you put your fingerprint on it at that time? What were some of your favorite features of it? I just like houses, man. I feel like I'm in an episode of Arch Digest right now. Maybe we'll do a MTV Welcome to My Crib when the new reno's done.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, so this place was the library. We built that out.
Was the layout always the same, or no? You changed the layout over time?
It was just a big flat.
Big flat at the time.
Big flat.
You said they didn't even have a 6th floor at the time.
There was a 6th floor, but it was not nothing was finished.
Okay.
Nothing was finished. This is just like a concrete floor plate. Oh, the floors were the same.
Okay.
And the wood
and the ceiling.
This is like the original maple.
Okay. And
that's the original as well.
Okay.
But the rest of this is all sort
blank
of
canvas.
net new. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about this wall that we see behind you right now. So you have a Chinese puzzle wall.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to do that?
Well, it's a bit of an homage to my origins.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a nod to where I came from.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you're going to keep some aspects of heritage in the new reno?
Yeah, that'll stay.
That'll stay. Oh, okay.
That'll stay.
Okay. All right. Well, let's not get too into the renovation because it's not a renovation show.
No.
This is the young show. And, so you ended up exiting K-Stack.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a friend of mine. He sold his first company and then he went and said, I played golf for 3 years and then I got bored and then I started something else. You said your retirement was being the CEO of Mars. That doesn't sound like a regular retirement, Young. That doesn't sound like a regular retirement. What did you just apply online or you're like, oh, okay, this would be cool? Like, how people like apply to volunteers?
No, I was very, very comfortably retired.
Yeah.
My second retirement at that point.
Oh, second. What was the?
So I had retired after that first company.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went and formed my venture
fund, NFQ. But that's still around. That didn't really stop.
Still around, but we invested into a bunch of private equity companies and invested both money as well as our time and our effort to help grow those companies. Mm-hmm. Some failed miserably. Some returned capital. And some had great liquidity events. So over time, I built a significant sort of nest egg out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I retired after the NFQ thing.
Got it. Now, what was your approach to building your nest egg as you were growing the first company? Was this something that you thought of or you're like, I'm just putting it all on the line. Like, let's go big or go home.
No, it was, letting it roll all in every single time.
Okay.
Every single time there was a major challenge. Every single time there was a major problem. Mm-hmm. Every single time the squeegee kid was worth minus, $10 million. We let it roll all the way in. And we just continue to go through the journey.
Do you think you would advise people to do that today, knowing what you know now? It's hard to say, right?
I always say, there's two kinds of companies. Maybe there's more than one, more than two, but the kinds of companies I was building were venture backed.
Okay.
But the moment you take your first penny from the outside, it's not just your play toy.
Huh.
You now owe people that you've made a promise to that you will return what they put into it plus. And so you get to choose whether or not you climb on that treadmill. Mm-hmm. But once you're on the treadmill, you don't get to come back off until such time as you finish the journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. So the fact that, you kind of just let it roll as a first-time entrepreneur growing a business that sucks capital.
Mm-hmm.
The business might make $1 million in a day, and it did. But you don't take any of it away, actually, until you get to some kind of a liquidity event. Until that time, you're basically trying to catch up with this treadmill that you started that's going faster and faster and faster. And every single time you raise more money, it speeds up. So you're chasing value creation to pay back your investors and continue to pay your employees and continue to deliver to your customers. You don't get to take any of it out until such point as you get to your liquidity event.
Interesting.
A different kind of business is you don't raise money from the outside. You slowly grow your company. You create enough of a margin business model that delivers you profit from which you can pay. But you're not growing at 50% per year and expanding to catch a new market. You're basically competing with your alternate providers in order to win business. It's a different kind of business. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. And you basically work with it a different way.
What circumstances would make you choose one versus the other? Like, because you're on the investor table now, right? And you're looking for jockeys to bet on. Which, if you were the jockey, knowing all the things that you know and going through all the adventures that you've gone on, under what circumstances would you want to get on that treadmill? And under what circumstances would you want to stay in your lane and grow organically?
At times of tremendous volatility, like now, you want to keep as much dry powder as you can. At times of growth, when capital is relatively available, like, when there's low interest rates, when money is free, when you're trying to invest into growth in new markets and new products. You would deal with those two things in very different ways. In a time like this, you want to basically keep as much dry powder as possible.
Dry powder meaning keep as much cash on hand?
You want to make sure that your business pays for itself if you can do that. If you rely on shareholder money to keep on, if you need to raise millions of dollars in order to pay for keeping the lights on and to continue your growth, there's so much uncertainty in the market right now. It's hard for an investor to write a check for you. You can say, I got the best business and the best product and the best company in the world. They'll say, yeah, but you know what? How do I know anything's going to buy anything from you? How do I know you're going to be able to sell your company or get to an IPO, which is my opportunity to get my money back with a return? The environment is too volatile right now. So unless you're already on the treadmill and you're already proving results and you're already delivering growth plus,
a little
EBITDA
surplus,
cash, it's really hard to raise right now. Not impossible, but really hard. You have to not just have great product or great company or great customers. You have to have unbelievable, growth. You have to be winning in unbelievable times. And if you're able to do that with the ability to create profitability or to at least pay for your own operations, what that allows you to do is you then have choices. Choices are your most important superpower, your most important asset.
Why?
If you have the best product, if you have the best company, if you have the best customers, but you don't have the ability to kind of determine your own choices on when you can raise money or when you can't raise money. You're a market taker.
Not a market maker.
Because if you need to keep the lights on,
you're going to do stuff.
I'm going to look for a company that's got the best product and the best business and the best customers that needs my cash. And I'm going to buy you for cents on the dollar. Because you don't have a choice. So you're a taker.
This is interesting because I've never considered strategy dynamics in a fundraising environment. I've never really raised funds. There was one time, like in the internship, I never got into the big four firms. I was pissed. and I studied accounting, right? And I remember like everybody coming into class like first week of school, and they're like, yeah, I got this internship. I'm like, internship? Which company again? And I look it up, application's closed. And I'm like, oh man, like these guys close it before school even starts? That's annoying. It's for like next year. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm so upset. And I was walking down the halls, you know, my head down, and I finally looked up and I saw this like flyer on the wall. It said, business incubator. You pitch, and if you get investment, that's your internship. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I pitched. I think everyone got $5,000. I got 2,500. I was so upset, but because I'm like, why did I get so little? But that 2,500 was enough for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. And
was that non-dilutive capital, by the way?
It was a grant.
It was a grant.
Yeah.
Non-dilutive.
So, exactly.
Excellent.
Not dilutive, meaning someone owns part of your company. Yeah. It was just a grant. Would you say equity versus capital? I didn't give up any equity for it.
Beautiful.
But I didn't even have anything to give up equity in. The deadline was tomorrow, and I needed an idea now. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me pitch something. So I pitched something. I ended up getting in. And, 1 month later, I ended up changing the idea. Then I met with the investors or the people who, the advisors, and they're like, what are you doing? You're changing our idea. They just gave you the money for this idea. And I'm like, yeah, I tested it. It didn't work. I found this thing and it said that it was going to be too expensive. Come up with the next idea. So I'm like, okay, let me try doing this next idea. I come up with the thing. I make the whole plan. I start going down the adventure. And next thing you know, there's a roadblock that I don't even think it's worth getting over. So by the next meeting, I'm like, yeah, I'm changing my idea again. Okay. And summer's 4 months. So this is month 3. I think I'm on my 3rd or 4th idea at this point. All the advisors are pissed. But by the end of it, I was one of the only people that made $1. So after that moment, I'm like, I'm never looking at fundraising again. Maybe too naive of an approach. But ever since then, I'm like, I don't care about grants. I don't care about fundraising. If you can't make money with no money, then you can't make money with money. That was like the principle behind it. And one of the things that I've always kind of like believed in. Same thing with this podcast. Like, why am I going to try and get grants for it? Because then by the time I get to episode 10, I'm going to run out of grant money and we're never going to be able to do the episode again. So that was kind of like the thought behind that. And I think now as you're saying this, I see like the market dynamics a little bit differently. I remember in 4th year, we had like the strategy class and they were talking about Porter's 5 forces analysis, talking about the threat of stuff. This is like one of the only things. There's like maybe 3 or 4 things that I remember from university, and this is one of them. The other one was how to shake a hand. My guy William Thurber, shout out William Thurber, his first class ever. He goes, I'm going to teach you the most important things that you're going to learn all the university. And I'm like, okay, what's that? He goes, someone stand up. And they come to the front of the class. Everyone's nervous. And he goes, stick out your hand like this. Look me in the eyes. Squeeze firm. That's how you shake a hand. And I was like, what the heck? This is the lesson? 10 years later, yeah, 100%. That was the lesson. Yeah. But in this 4th year class, strategy, we're talking about Porter's 5 forces analysis, buyer power, supplier power. And as I think about your perspective now, being at NFQ, for example, it's like, yeah, I'm looking for a steal. I'm not just putting my money anywhere because I think so. It's like, I'm looking for a good deal. Somebody that needs the capital. Somebody who's got excellent A, excellent B, excellent C, and this one need. If I can find this one need, I'm going to get it at a discount. Same thing with the investors that I know. And you got it. It sounds like the exact same thing that you did with this building. You're like, I'm going to buy a building. What was the philosophy behind this building specifically? Because you said this was the worst area of town, or one of anyways. There's bird poop on the ground.
Well, it wasn't the worst area, but it was an uninhabited area.
Yeah. And what did you see in it that you thought would be a good decision?
Great bones.
Okay.
The building had great bones.
Okay.
It was a grand, although uninhabited, avenue.
Yeah.
Like Wellington Street in its glory days was a broad avenue. It's got a lot of history in the Fort York area.
See, you and this history, Young, you're inspiring me to learn, to read and learn into more things, like just overall. I appreciate that.
So the place just talked to me because it was a place where you could put your own personality in.
Okay.
It wasn't a place where you had to conform to an existing. There's a bit of a pattern there, isn't there?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm starting to see the bones that make up Young right now, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to take a glimpse into your world. So thank you. So now you got NFQ, but when you said I retired from NFQ, how did you retire from it if you still own it? Like, what does that mean?
So, I mean, we had investments in a portfolio of companies.
Okay.
We just stopped making more investments into more companies.
And kind of just let the existing ones kind of just ride the wave?
Right.
Got it. Okay.
And then, instead of being very, very active, basically mothballed the ones that weren't going to really continue to grow and sold out our positions in those, and then just continued to let it ride for the ones that were okay.
Yeah.
The decision was to basically give back to Canada. And I felt like the best way I could do that was to translate my own experiences as an entrepreneur, a tech entrepreneur, into an ecosystem that was nascent, but really had the opportunity to grow for the next generation. So this is where the whole concept of let's create a multi-generational destination for our talent and the capital that follows the talent in the businesses that basically get created from this thing to basically be able to generation over generation over generation start to build something special here.
So did you didn't start Mars though?
No.
Mars is already existing. So did you just kind of like apply online? Like, hey, here's my cover letter.
I was recruited. I was recruited, by an executive recruiter. And I don't know where they found me from because I spent a lot of time staying very, very
hidden,
private.
Yeah. Riding around your motorcycle and your bat
off the radar.
Yeah.
And back then we did not have Instagram or Facebook or anything, right?
There was no radar that you could really even look at.
So I was always curious how they found me, actually.
Did you ever ask?
I did ask, but he didn't tell me.
Don't recall. You danced around the politician answer, eh?
No, you know what? As I recall, he asked people about who they would recommend for this thing.
Got it.
And he hit my network.
And
then he started getting the same answers from people that they told him to go and talk to as well. So he found a way to navigate what I thought I'd done a great job of staying completely anonymous on. Because I worked at it, Javon.
Yeah.
I really worked at it.
Yeah. I can imagine.
To stay off the radar.
Why? What was the decision behind that?
To jump out and do Mars, or?
No, to stay off the radar.
To stay off the radar.
Because you're still a pretty low-key guy. I can't even really add you on LinkedIn without having your personal contact information. I'm like, how did you do this? I don't even think I don't even know you could do that on LinkedIn. It's like, no, you cannot add Young unless you know his personal email. I'm like, dude, what the heck? How do I find this guy? Yeah. Why stay hidden?
I don't believe in quantity. I believe in quality. Your relationships are your most important assets. They're your only currency that really matters because your reputation is your only thing that you actually can bring to the table. So it's back to what we talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
And they're earned, not granted. So as much as I'm not interested in sort of being a influencer, or I don't know what the terminology is for these days.
Whether you want to be or you don't, you've influenced me. So sucks.
No, it doesn't suck because I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time and inviting us into your bat layer.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
So now you're recruited, and now you're the CEO again, and you're one of like the people that are responsible for growing Canada's GDP in the tech sector, right? Hidden and behind the scenes, but still doing the work and getting the work done. When that position made itself available to you and they found you, why did you decide to take it?
Well, it was that promise I made to my mother and my father that if we ever found ourselves in a position of privilege, check, that we would actually find a way to give back to a country that we owed our lives to, not just our livelihoods.
Fair. And
check.
So what was Mars when you joined at the helm? Like what would you describe its state of? Because I mean, you look anywhere on the internet and it's got all these, it's like one of the most prominent places in Canada, right? And you look online and it says it's one of the world's largest innovation hubs, overseeing expansion from 1,200 plus startups, 6,000 employees, over 32,000 workers. And you made it, let me see, contributed nearly $30 billion to Canada's GDP and $7.5 billion in tax revenue. That's the stats according to the interweb that you're trying to stay off of. They got something on you, you know. But what was it when you joined? And
look, I mean, these things don't happen just because. So I described that scenario as I'm very proud of the work that we did.
Yeah,
myself and my team and the community did when I was there. I was just very, very fortunate to have that, you know, capability, that potential there.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of potential, young man.
I'm not so young anymore.
You're still young. You'll always be young.
But let's just say I didn't drop the ball. And I'm very, very proud of the work that we're able to do together. But I will never take credit because I'm an entrepreneur. I would never take credit for the work of the entrepreneurs and the companies that formed part of the ecosystem. I'll just say that it's really important that in an ecosystem which acts a lot like Darwin's laws of natural selection.
Okay. And in this case, what does it mean? Only the strong survive, or?
Yeah. The benchmark in the industry back when I joined Mars is that 0.6% of companies got from a startup to $100 million of revenue, about $1 billion of valuation.
Okay.
0.6%.
Wow.
Javon, that means 99.4% fail at that, right? And when I was building that first company and all the subsequent companies that I was involved in before Mars, I didn't have anything like the Mars ecosystem available to me. I would fly to India to find my software engineers. On my way back, I would stop at the west coast of the US to find my first investors. Then I would come back to Canada in order to kind of build out the infrastructure and the company. And then I would stop over in Japan to find our first customers. You know what I mean? It's like tons of inertia. And one of the things that I discovered along the way was that actually velocity wins and inertia kills. That was full of inertia, starting those companies without an ecosystem like Mars. So that was my sort of mission template plan, which is like, how do we create an infrastructure, innovation infrastructure, which would allow entrepreneurs to basically have a much higher rate of success and a much lower rate of failure. And at Mars, we turned a 99.4% chance of failure, startup to $100 million of revenue, to a 4.8% chance of success.
It's massive.
That's an 8 times to 10 times factor of success.
Yeah.
Right? When you think about it that way.
Wow.
And the reason why is because we're able to basically construct the ecosystem and put the infrastructure in place so that entrepreneurs could basically not just navigate the challenges that they don't control, but learn from each other, build their leadership teams so that their CFOs could basically learn from other CFOs, their VP of business development and sales could learn from other VPs of business development and sales. We're able to build the overall infrastructure to improve the rate of success and reduce the rate of failure. And so it was not a correlation factor. It was a causality factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So no, actually, go deeper.
So basically the things that Mars did was work with our founders and their companies in order to increase their resilience, in order to increase their trajectory for success, and to reduce the risks that they had to navigate. Which is how we got from 6,000 people in the ecosystem to 32,500. Which is how we got from let's say less than $1 billion of GDP per year to about $6 billion of GDP per year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the whole thing got constructed.
What? Okay. So let's talk ecosystem, because I'm hearing a lot of remnants of ecosystem design sprinkled throughout. The dance and delicate mix of factors that you can control and factors that you can't control, and looking at ceilings and saying, is this a real ceiling? How can we manufacture what the ceiling actually is so that we can reach something higher. If I were to say I've synthesized a theme that I'm starting to see unfold over the last how many ever years, let's say 30 or so, 30 somewhat years, that we've been even longer than that, to be honest. I think that's something that I'm starting to pick up on. Mm-hmm. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think those are elements for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to have moonshot companies,
yeah,
you better have great launch pads. Think about it that way, right?
Yeah.
Mars and ecosystems like Mars are launch pads. They're innovation infrastructure.
Okay.
I would never take responsibility or, you know, take away the effort from entrepreneurs or their companies that have been successful.
Yeah.
I'll just say our job was to make sure they had the launch pad.
Yeah.
Their job was to make sure they fly these rockets.
Okay. So let's talk launch pads.
Yeah.
I like launch pads. I like crafting an environment, especially an environment for success and an environment to make, to win. Right? Because what's an environment for a sports team to win? You got to have great coaches. You got to have great facilities. You got to have great practice and great routines.
Yeah. And you got great players on top of that.
And great players. And great players are made by great launch pads.
Yes.
Are they? Born or built?
They are helped.
They're helped. Okay.
By great launch pads.
Okay.
You can have great players, but if they don't have a launch pad, they're failure to launch.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we stay at 0.6%.
Yeah.
Okay. So how would you describe the ecosystem factors for Case-Tech at the time that you were building that ecosystem? And what I want to chat about is in this part is the different ecosystems that you're building, because right now, especially through CLR, you're designing an ecosystem so that Canada could win, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk ecosystem design, and let's start with the ecosystem of Case-Tech. I know it's a case study now at this point, but still I think worth diving into, because we know the factors, we know the ecosystem elements that made Young, or at least the catalyst that helped shape Young into who he was. It was trying to fit in. It was calling you Hop Sing. It was someone making fun of someone that looked, smelled, and sounded like you at the restaurant, and you caught yourself in the mirror after, right? Like these elements are like you add those things into the mix, and all of a sudden you've got a beautiful plate of mixed food that is a delicious meal. Now, you're not just going to the place and getting rice, right? So everything has its ecosystem around it. So I'm curious, let's start first with Case-Tech. What ecosystems or ecosystem elements or factors did you kind of like purposely design to make that company succeed?
So there was no ecosystem.
Okay.
So that's the first point I'd make.
Okay.
We should have failed. We should have failed 3 different times over in each of those major 3
kind of like external
events that we couldn't control. We should have.
Yeah.
But Javon, we didn't fail because of that NFQ quotient.
Which is probably the first most important ecosystem element in itself. I'm never going to quit it.
So that I do believe is one of the superpowers that you need to have.
Okay.
Is that commitment to tough it out.
Okay.
I hate fail fast.
You hate fail fast.
I hate fail fast.
The concept. Okay.
Because it's a little too close to quit fast.
But how do you know when to quit though? Like, how do you know that something's actually worth quitting?
I'm not saying that you should keep on doing the same thing and expect a different result. You have to basically try to get through, over, under, around. You have to try everything you can. It should never be easy to quit. You may fail anyway.
Yeah.
You may.
Yeah.
Like that's life. That's the reason why there's a 99.4% chance of failure. Because
there was.
There was, right?
Yeah.
So Case-Tech had to navigate that gauntlet, that Darwin's laws of natural selection. We got lucky. We were one of the 0.6%.
Dude, you were not lucky, man. You can't say that, Young.
So the things that we had to do was the resilience part.
Yeah.
And we got resilience because we built and invested into relationships that weren't just there for the good times. Because when we hit the bad times, guess what? I had to call my employees. I had to call my stakeholders, my investors, my customers. I had to call on all the different groups that I had already invested into and built reputational equity with, and said, you know what? This is going to pass. I'm going to keep you informed. Every week I'm going to have a meeting with you. I'm going to tell you what went right, what went wrong, and where things are going to be at. I'm never going to break a promise to you. You have to drag me out by the heels before I do that. I'm going to go down 10 million before I bring you back up. They ended up getting an 18x on their investments. 18 times the last investors.
Oh, last investors. Okay.
Because I made them a promise. I said, if you put in money to help me to navigate this crisis, I'm going to deliver you the first returns that come out when we get to our liquidity event. They got an 18x.
Nice.
For every dollar they put in, they got $18.
Man, what was I doing in 1989 not investing in Young, man? I made a mistake.
So every $100,000 they put in, they got 1.8 million.
Got it. Yeah, I think I read somewhere online they put 10 M's.
So your $100,000 in how many days turned into $1.8 million in literally, but that's navigating the norm of 0.6% of companies can ever get there. And what happened when we got to Mars was we said, let me start looking at every single choke point.
Every single what point?
Choke point.
Choke point.
Every single obstacle, every single bottleneck to companies that fail.
And how did you do that? Did you just go and walk in their doors and say, hey, talk to me? Like how?
Well, I started with my own experiences.
Okay.
I happen to have had a lot of, spears and arrows in my chest and in my back.
A lot of humbling moments.
Tons of it.
Yes, sir.
So right off the bat, like there's things that, because I had experienced this, I personally had knowledge of, and that experience was what I tried to translate with my team into.
You good on time? I know you said hard stop at 4.
I can probably go to 4:30.
Okay, we'll try and
finish off.
Yeah. We're getting to a close.
Okay. So that was it. It was like, okay, how do I translate the entire experience of, a person that's seen all the challenges, that has gone from 0 to 100, that has gone from 0 to 400 people down to 30, back up to 250. How do you translate that into the infrastructure that supports other companies and other founders who are doing it for the first time? And so that's what we did. What is an ecosystem? It is not just the founders. It is also the capital investors. It is also the customers that need to procure. It is also the brand of a place like Mars that can help amplify. So when you put all these things together, it's the teams, not just the founders. When you start putting these pieces together, you start changing the actual rate of success. That's the ecosystem working. And every single stakeholder in that ecosystem has something different they would want.
Okay.
Right? A founder wants to get to their liquidity event. An investor wants to get a return on the checks that they would write. A customer actually wants to get a working technology that they can adopt and get a return on their business from. An employee wants to have a piece of the action so that they can actually reinvest their own success into their own entrepreneurial journey. Everybody has a different thing that they look for. And how do you find the cross-section in the Venn diagram where people get what they need because we're hitting the cross-section of enlightened self-interest? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And is this your, let's say you were to walk into a new place, walk into a new organization, do you think this is the first question that you start with?
Yeah, the first question I start with is, if I didn't know the business, if I didn't have my own personal arrows and spears in my chest and my back, I would want to make sure that I was absolutely certain what the experience of my stakeholders are. Because the first moment that you lose touch with the people you're serving is the start of your free fall. And you can talk about politics, or you can talk about businesses, or you can talk about communities, but if you lose touch with the people that you're serving, you're on a free fall, man. You don't even know it. Why do you think major parties get wiped out? Because they're not listening to their stakeholders. They think they know better, as opposed to listening hard and then designing what they do in order to serve those stakeholders better. So the first thing I did when I walked into Mars was I said, you know what? I don't want to hear us, Martians, talking about ourselves. I don't. I actually am not interested in how good we think we are. I'm more interested in hearing about how our entrepreneurs and our ventures in our ecosystem and our capital providers, what do they think about Mars? So when you turn that inside out, do you know this thing called Net Promoter Score?
NPS. But school us.
So NPS on a 0 to 10.
How likely to refer or something?
How likely are you to refer? Because that is the definitive question for, do you actually really believe in the thing that you're doing?
Wow.
Or are you just like, giving me,
fluff?
Yeah. Would you refer me to, would Lee refer Javon to Young? If Lee says, I'm going to give you a 9 or a 10, that's a really great score. I'll take that. If Lee says, you know what, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm going to give Javon, talking to you, Young, I'm going to give Javon a ranking of 6, maybe even 7. You know what?
You can't use 7. Sevens
Exactly.
is too safe.
I'll rate that as a 0.
Yeah.
If Lee says, I'm going to rate Javon to Young at somewhere between 0 to, let's say,
6
4 or 5.
Okay.
That's also 0.
Yeah.
So only if you are an 8 or a 9 or a 10 will I actually mark that as a score. So my long-winded way to kind of unpack all this is, you ask your stakeholders what they would refer you to, their community for. And you learn why. And then you design your programs to actually make sure that you're serving them. It completely changes the behavior of an organization once they're measured by it, once they get their bonuses attached to it, once they get their promotions based on this. And so we went from a net promoter score of, I think, 21, which is, it's okay, it's not bad, to about a 71 by the time we finished. That's why we got to a 4.8% success, as opposed to a 0.6% success. Because we paid really careful attention to what our stakeholders thought about us, not what we thought of ourselves. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah. This is like, because as I think about this, like, how do you grow, right? Like, especially if, like you mentioned previously, trust is the rate of success. You mention often a rate of success, not just success or failure as a binary, but the degree of success as a metric, which
because it's repeatable. If you have a greater rate of success, that means the next time you try this, you're going to have a better rate of success.
Now, what do you so let's say, for instance, you're talking to a young kid or the young what ecosystem elements? So we're talking the ecosystem of K-Stack. We talked about the ecosystem of Mars and what your first approach is. Now, what if you have no relationships, no skill, no job, and you're just coming fresh out of university or just starting university, let's say? What do you think, what ecosystem do you think kids need in order to, contribute to Canada's GDP? Because let's go there. And then I want to ask about Canada at the end. Because a lot of the rooms that I hear you in, you're talking about Canada being you said something that has just stuck with me, and it's by 2030, Canada's projected to be dead last amongst developed countries.
Yes.
And like, just as remember, earlier I was talking about me being in the stadium, and I heard something that just got me so pissed off that I had to do something about it.
Yeah.
That was one of those
That
things.
was one of those
so
things. So I pissed you off.
You successfully pissed me off.
Okay, good. The job is finished.
My job's
done.
The job has just started. The job has just begun. It is not done. It is far from finished.
Yeah.
But let's talk kids, and then we'll talk about Canada. So what do you think like a kid starting university would need in order to design an ecosystem around themselves to succeed by the time they're, let's say, 5 years out, 10 years out of school?
Well, I mean, depending on what that kid is passionate about, interested in, and has designed a career in, there's going to be an existing ecosystem to plug into for that. One would hope. You know, whether it's creative arts, whether it is the service economy, whether it is the tech economy, whether it's the advanced manufacturing economy, they will have some place to go to where they can learn, where they can absorb, where they can talk to others that have gone through that journey already, where they can get mentoring, where they can get pathways.
So first, mentorship, first ecosystem element. What else would you say?
One of the reasons, I mean, you talked about CELAR. Let me talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
The Coalition of Innovation Leaders Advancing Respect.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It used to be against racism. Coalition of Innovation Leaders Against Racism.
Yeah.
And it's still something we're against. But the question kept coming up, like, okay, we know what you're against.
What are you for?
What are you for?
Huh.
It's Coalition of Innovation Leaders Advancing Respect. It's one of my 3 R's. Right? Because CELAR is also intended to bring together like-minded people. They don't have to look alike. They don't have to be alike. They don't have to have the same viewpoints in this world, but they embrace the differences amongst each other.
Yeah.
To say, let's reinvest. You know, we've gone through the gauntlet ourselves. We know what that journey looks like. We should reinvest this into the next generation. And we should, in particular, make sure that these pathways are available to under-recognized communities and underrepresented communities as well. And I'm not just talking about skin color, man. Coarse, Black, Indigenous, people of color. Also different socioeconomic, classes. Also
100%.
different generational groupings.
Yeah.
People that come from privilege, people that don't come from privilege. How do we identify and help those people that have nothing to lose but everything to gain, that have an edge, that can bring that competitiveness, that can bring that NFQ piece to not just their lives, but their families, but their communities, and therefore adds up to what? Prosperity. Because otherwise we are absolutely on a free fall. Free fall down the productivity curve.
Yeah. What do you fear that will happen to us if we keep falling as a country?
Well, we won't be able to pay for what makes Canada great. If we're not generating the prosperity on a per person basis, and we're just simply, for instance, just shipping. We're a very, very rich country, maybe one of the richest in the world.
Yeah.
Lumber, mining, oil and gas, talent, intellectual property. We're geniuses at this stuff. But if we just keep shipping as opposed to building here, we're not adding value to what we do here collectively as a nation, and we're not building prosperity that's available then for us to reinvest into future generations.
And when you mean shipping, you mean all of our talent is leaving, for example?
We ship raw materials.
Oh, got it.
We also ship talent.
Yes.
We also ship intellectual property.
Yes.
Before converting them into businesses, we ship them out of our institutions.
Okay. And we keep selling them as raw materials instead of as a finished product.
And guess what? That's pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Let's get dollars on the dollar.
Yeah. Pennies on the dollar you would invest in. So
we have a great healthcare system. Or we have a healthcare system these days.
Period.
Not sure how great that is anymore.
Somewhere on the continuum.
Right. We have social supports. We have a great educational system. For us to stay great at these things that our communities and families need, we need to be able to generate the prosperity to pay for them. People have to be able to pay for their housing and their transportation and their education and their futures. But it's got to come from somewhere. And if we're falling down the productivity curve, we're essentially mortgaging the future that you and your children and your grandchildren and your nephews and nieces will have to pay for. So out of 38 countries in the OECD, Canada is projected to go to 38 by 2030.
Yeah.
How does that square when we're the most valuable and richest countries in the world?
Most coastline, a ridiculous amount of forestry, biggest access to water, healthcare system, education systems, global cities that people from all over the world want to be.
Exactly. How does that square? It doesn't square, right? Artificial intelligence, modern artificial intelligence was basically invented here in Toronto. Dr. Jeffrey Hinton, one of our imports from the UK, who we're never going to let him go back, recently won the Nobel Prize.
And that's literally the shipping, like UK shipped, or I guess he shipped from somewhere else to here and now built something here that's going to change our country.
Yeah.
And that's what you're referencing. We got to keep our talent. We got to build here instead of shipping.
Right.
Understood.
So this AI super cycle, it's global.
Yeah.
It is going to generate around $15 trillion with a T, 15 trillion in new economic activity over the next 5 years. So for something that was invented here, don't you think that we should have more than our fair share
100%,
of that?
100%.
That means we have to basically take the advantages that we have learned and that we have invented, and we have to adopt that. We have to deploy that into our small, medium-sized enterprises. We have to upskill and reskill our workers, our young people, so they have a pathway. From under-recognized communities, they have a pathway to create prosperity from excellence. That's what raises our productivity level. That's what raises our ability to underwrite the key things that make Canada great. And then we got to pay attention to what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, what do you think our NPS score is of the country right now?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That sounds like it's below 7.
It is the reason why there's a change election right now.
Yeah.
It's the reason why whoever wins is presenting as a change leader. But I don't think this is a time for us to be thinking about ideologies and parties. I think this is a time for us to think about leadership. Who can lead us forward? Spending should be done very, very wisely. Let's put it that way. But investing has to be done very, very boldly.
What do those mean to you? What's wise investing? What is bold investing?
So spending wisely.
Wise spending,
says, even though there's a need for everything, we can't underwrite everything. We got to pick and choose where we play. Investing boldly says, we know that there are certain opportunities for us to build prosperity that's sustainable in this country. So let's invest into the infrastructure to support that. Let's invest into the people so that we prepare our workers and our youth to participate. Let's invest into the competitiveness of our businesses so they can build value here and not just ship raw materials and IP and talent abroad. Let's invest into the reasons why this place becomes a multi-generational destination for capital and talent and people. Because that basically drives a sustainable Canada. And having landed here and knowing how important and incredibly rich this country is, that would be a legacy I'd be very, very proud to actually be part of leaving. To say this place has a sustainability to basically continue that journey, create more prosperity, drive more value, be a beacon for democracy. I know what the world looks like outside.
You don't look like this.
And we can't allow ourselves to fall into that.
Wow.
Don't you think?
I agree.
Okay.
So what do you think? Don't you agree? Young. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Man. A lot of new perspectives gained. And a lot of old ones got reaffirmed, got new perspectives, and I'm realizing the value. I don't think I'm realizing the value, but I'm realizing the importance of investing in relationships and infrastructure as a result of this conversation. You know, there's the 3 R's that are going to stick with me for sure. And I think the biggest one, I already wrote it on the coffee before we started, was that the glass ceiling is not real. You can build on top of it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Beautifully
it.
said. Beautifully said.
Now, I do actually have one question that I do want to ask. And my condolences about your parents. What did you admire most about them?
Well, like every immigrant family, I think, you know, my parents were brilliant. And of course, I admire them for just their natural gifts. They could have taken that brilliance. They could have sucked it up, stayed in Taiwan. They probably would have become, I don't know, captains of industry and owners of the most valuable companies in the world because their brains work like that. But no, they came here. They came here to give us a new life. They came here to create pathways through challenge. They experienced it too. Those challenges allowed me to be who I am today. I know they shut down pathways for my parents, both of them, because, you know, if I found myself having this experience, they found it much harder. So I respect them for that. I thank them for that. And my way of basically thanking them at this point is to make sure that I do continue to find ways to give back to a country that we owe our lives to, not just our livelihoods.
And I think you're doing a great job at that.
Well, thank you. You're one of my stakeholders. So it's important that, you know, 10, what I do makes sense to you.
10 on the NPS score. What do you think? What do you think your parents would say if they heard about all the great things that you're doing now?
I hope they'd be proud. And I hope that together we could be, we could just appreciate the fact that we did what we were supposed to do. And, you know, but we're a family that's very two-dimensional, my friend. You know, part of running hard, fighting hard, and smarting hard is that you don't know about the other dimensions of humanity. I have a brother in addition to my sister. My brother is an adult with autism, 15 years younger than me. And I would say that I think he taught us more than we ever taught him. Still teaching us, actually. Because he taught us there's a human portion to life and life experience. And it's important to be connected to, you know, resilience isn't just about sort of like toughing it out in, you know, surviving terrible odds and fighting through broken glass. It's actually deeply communal. You get resilience through the relationships you built, actually. So building that community of people that you trust, that trust you, are the things that I think, you know, can only be formed through a very, very communal kind of experience. And then you got to appreciate that. And this is a place that allows us to do that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm meandering, but those are the things that occur.
That's all right. We're here at the beginning of your next renovation. So
yes, who knows what this will turn into?
Who knows what it will turn into? Well, I know I'm happy with what we've started, and the best is yet to come.
Okay.
So I guess we could wrap this there, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. All right, man. Take care.
Thanks for having us.
All right.